This is Fred Allendale, and this is the first in a series of 3 tutorials on the new texturing HUD kit. We'll be going over the advanced model. There's also a simpler and lower priced light model which has a much more limited set of features. This first tutorial will be going over some of the basic functions and or just an orientation of the HUD kit, and I'll show you what's in the kit and what you can do with it. In the next set of tutorials, we'll show an example HUD that I've pre-built along with some target objects, and we'll show you how the configuration note card defines what each button on the HUD will do. Finally, we'll have another series on making your own HUD from scratch using the scripts and some of the components from the advanced HUD kit. So the purpose of the kit is to be able to create custom texturing and coloring HUDs to go with your products so that you can sell or include them for free, the HUDs, in products that you market. There's just a single script that goes into the HUD and a single script that goes into your target object, your item of clothing, furniture, jewelry, shoes, whatever objects you want to change textures and colors in various parts of using the HUD. It also includes a resizer and a color picker that lets you interactively pick and store and save any particular combination of colors, either interactively or by specifying the RGB values. The HUD kit is very flexible in that the configuration note card fully defines what each button does. So there's a section of the note card that defines each button on the HUD face in terms of which target object, link number or prim number, the face number, the texture, and the color to be applied to those designated items. So you have full flexibility to texture and color any part, any face, any prim on your target object. It works with regular sculpt or mesh target objects, and it also includes a couple of utility scripts, a target face finder and a target profiler script that will analyze your object and determine the parameters that you should put into the configuration note card. So they're used as an aid. Another important feature is the texture UUID encryption. The target face finder and target profiler scripts are available in encryption versions, and when you profile your object, it will deliver a encrypted version of the texture UUID for you to paste into your note card. So even if someone is able to read the note card, they will not be able to decode it and get your texture UUID. So that's an important feature to protect your intellectual property. Alright, so now we're going to unpack the delivery box to your inventory using the normal method of doing that. You can see here it stores it in a file folder called Texturing HUD Kit Advanced, and here's all the items that are in there. There's a few note cards. There's a instruction note card that has detailed instructions on the setup process and creating your own HUD and all of the different parameters and variables that are involved. So it requires a little bit of study, but don't be discouraged. It's not really that complicated once you get into it. But all the details are there, including some illustrations. There's also a README First note card, has things like the license terms on it, and provides an overview of the HUD and the process that you go through to set things up. and then a detailed listing of everything that's in the HUD kit. And so there are a number of scripts in the HUD kit. Only one is required in the target object and one required in the HUD itself. There is that's the texturing HUD and the texturing HUD target. There is a license script that you put into the HUD when you first receive it, and that marks that particular HUD as licensed to you as the original owner. And that is important for utilization by people that you send it to or sell it to. There's also, as I mentioned earlier, the target face finder script and the target profiler scripts in both a encrypted version and an unencrypted version, so that you can protect your UUIDs if you desire. And these are utility scripts that analyze your object and help you determine what parameters need to go into your configuration note card. And finally, the last script is a subscriber master code script. This is used if you want to put a button onto your HUD and you own a subscriber kiosk. This allows the HUD to know the address of the master kiosk and be able to let people subscribe by touching that button. So it's another little additional feature. Works in conjunction also with a Second Life group join button. So you have some additional optional buttons to put on your HUD. There's the note cards that are in here, of course, the Read Me First card that we're reading here, as well as the detailed instructions I showed you earlier. And then there is a generic version of the HUD button configuration note card that defines what each button on your HUD will do. And the generic version just has the general format, but it's set up so that you can then put your specific textures and prim numbers and color codes onto that and build your own HUD. The objects that are included in the kit include a texturing HUD in a generic form. It's basically a prim box with a whole bunch of buttons on it and a color picker module on it that you can use as a starting point for building your own. There's also a separate color picker module that can be put onto your own HUD if you don't like the design of the one that I provided. And then there's a couple of examples. There's a simple HUD with just 10 buttons on it, and an example mesh shirt that demonstrates how you can apply textures and colors to different faces. And there's a more complex example. It's a vest and a shirt that shows how you can actually have two separate objects, or more if you like, where a single button can actually texture and or color different faces and different prims of two different objects all at the same time from a single button. So you really have a lot of flexibility in terms of what you set your HUD up to do. And then there are the mesh shirt and the mesh vest examples of the target objects to demonstrate how it works. So that's the Read Me First note card and the contents of the kit. And the third note card here is the actual example of a generic HUD button configuration card. We'll go over this in more detail in the next section, but you can see I just have a placeholder for each button on the prim, on the HUD prim, but you can rename these to anything that you want later. So we'll get into the details of what goes on this card in the next tutorial. That provides an overview of what's in the HUD kit and what the purpose of it is. The next tutorial we will look at the examples that are included in the kit and show you how they work and give you a little bit of an overview of how you would set up your own HUD. So take a look at the next tutorial, and thank you very much for buying the Texturing HUD Kit Advanced or Light version.